What's up everyone, my name is Trevor and welcome to my review of the Scarlett 2i2 by Focusrite. So this is a USB audio interface that can be used to power XLR microphones like the one that's right below the camera right here. You can't really see it, but it's right there and that's what I'm using. So I'm actually using the interface itself to make this review. A couple of stats for you here. Basically, this thing, I'm pretty sure, is the only one in this exact price bracket. So Behringer has interfaces, I think, at both 100 and 200. Right now, this is 150 on Amazon. This is USD, of course. I'm not sure how much it's fluctuated in the past. I think it's been 200 before. People said they bought it for 200. I bought this from 150 from a Guitar Center. I bought it locally, just because I didn't really want to wait to get it at the time. So the Behringer UMC 202 is 100, and the PreSonus 22 VSL is 200. So that's pretty much the only competition this thing has. Both of which, seem, by the reviews I've read, both of those do quite well. It's really, really difficult to find a really specific consensus on these things, just because people use them with so many different devices that you get a lot of different views, a lot of different cases, and it's difficult to get a definitive reading on how well these perform. Like right now, I'm using this on Windows with Ableton, with some compression from the plugins and EQ, and I'm using it on the MXL 990. Someone might be using it on a Rode mic, someone might be using it on any number of different types of microphones. So it's really, really difficult to get specific information as to how well these perform compared to others, especially when you get into stuff like the preamps. I'm not an audio engineer by any means, but I've been using this for well over a year now, so I can talk to some of the strengths and weaknesses it has. So right off the bat, if we just start looking at this thing here, on the front we have two mic pre's, and it basically has like a hybrid connection where you can use either an XLR or 1/4-inch TRS connection. So my mic uses XLR. I'm sure there's some instruments that use 1/4-inch TRS. You've got some gain knobs for both of those inputs there. You have gain monitoring on each one around those knobs. It shows you basically if you're clipping. And then we've got a direct monitor switch, which I've seen some other reviews say they really don't care about it, they don't really like it, but for someone who does voiceovers, this is incredible. The fact that I can monitor what my mic sounds like completely live with no latency is actually extremely valuable to me. Now, the one downside to this is that since I don't have hardware EQ and compression, since I do it through software, there's no way to hear what the signal sounds like after compression and EQ is added, because that's added after it's sent to the computer. I could monitor it through the computer with ASIO for all drivers, except there's going to be a lot of latency and it's pretty much unusable while you're talking. It's going to throw you off. But as far as like just, it sounds pretty good. Like the raw signal sounds decent. So you still get a good idea of what you sound like, and it's certainly useful. I always use it when I'm live streaming or doing voiceover work. I'm not using it right now because I'd have to have the headphones on. But yeah, so all of the knobs have a good weight to them. They all feel nicely weighted and they don't feel cheap. The overall construction of the entire thing is pretty incredible. You have brushed aluminum with this red paint around it, and it just looks and feels really, really durable. I feel honestly, I feel confident dropping this. Like maybe not on concrete, but even then, there's a lot of confidence with handling the product. It feels like you can easily, and I've done this before, I throw it in my backpack when I'm going on a road trip where I travel, just so I have a nice audio interface to plug my headphones into. I know it's not exactly like the best case scenario for that, but I don't really mind. It's compact, it doesn't take up too much space, and you can easily throw it into a bag without worrying about anything being damaged. So moving right along, if we go to the rear, there's two balanced monitor outputs, 1/4-inch. So I have I mean, this is true for pretty much all audio interfaces, not just this one specifically, but I have speakers that just have the 3.5 millimeter connection for like plugging into your computer. So what I had to do was get a 3.5 millimeter connection, or it was like a converter to do that to 1/4 inch so that I could plug those into the back of my audio interface here. So on the back, you'll also find the USB 2.0 port and a Kensington lock slot in case you want to lock it. I haven't used that just because I've never had it in a public place or anything like that, or in a studio, but that might be useful if you're going to do anything like that. So we also have 24-bit resolution with a sample rate of 96 kilohertz. I don't actually know what ASIO for all, because of the way I use my audio interface, and basically I put it into Ableton, and then from Ableton I add effects and then output it from line 1 from virtual audio cable. So when I'm recording in Ableton, I'm pretty sure it's using higher quality than when it routes, but I think I'm using 96 kilohertz 24-bit sample rate. It's actually quite hard to tell just because the difference between 16-bit and 24-bit is pretty small. I don't want to downplay it at all, but honestly, most people aren't going to hear any sort of difference, especially if you're compressing down to like 128 kilobytes a second for the audio. So something else that's included here is the Focusrite Scarlett plugin suite, which comes with the compressor, reverb, EQ, and gate. Right now, I'm actually using the compressor and the EQ from this plugin suite. I'm using it in Ableton, and I'm gonna be honest, it sounds pretty good. My only other experience with plugins is Reaper, the free plugins that come with Reaper, and those did pretty well too, but these sound great. I have no complaints with it. It's pretty useful. I'm glad that it came with those, just because I have like some nice plugins now if I wanted to use them. I used to use the gate, but it was a little heavy, and I didn't really understand how to set it up correctly, and I feel like software gates, it just wasn't working quite as well as I wanted it to, so I just dropped it and instead opted to soundproof the area that I'm recording. And in this case, you can see I have pretty much a comforter set up behind me, and typically I'm facing that way and recording and doing voiceover work in that direction, so it helps a lot. But there's not too much reverb in this room anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, so that is the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and there are certainly more tech reviews coming in the future, so don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you would like to be notified of when I upload videos in the future. Anyway, it has been real. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.